What is up, people? Welcome to a brand new video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, we're going to be going over the brand new patch that was just added to EA Sports UFC 4. That is patch 7.0, as you guys can see right here. And we're just going to go through the patch notes together, take a look at what was added, what was changed, what was amended. And I'm also going to list, I'm going to put a link to this in the video description below if you guys want to go and check it out for yourself. I'm not going to read the whole entire thing in detail, but right here it says patch 7.0 is officially live. Make sure to update your game to the newest version to gain access to some exciting new content. It talks about how they added a brand new Legacy Conor McGregor model, which is the character model that you guys are looking at right here. This character model right here is the same exact look that Conor had when he fought Dustin Poirier. I don't know if you guys remember, but he had the little, bald on the sides and the little braids on the top of his head. That's the way he looked in that last fight he had against Dustin Poirier before switching up his look, and going with the regular fades. But this is a very iconic look that Conor had. Of course, no tattoo on his belly at this time. I believe right now on his belly he has a tiger tattoo or something like that, but right here in the past he didn't have that tattoo. So this character model was added. It's a kind of legacy model to remind us of what he looked like when he first fought Dustin Poirier, who he's of course about to fight in the main event of UFC 257. We also have another fighter that was added to the game. Oh my god, how do I say his name? Yuri Prohaska. I believe I said that correctly. Correct me in the comment section if I didn't. Yuri Prohaska was also added. This is a light heavyweight fighter right there. You take a look at his grappling stats. Not too good. Striking fairly decent. Health stats fairly decent. We're gonna dive into this character and use him a little bit just to get an idea. You also have some Conor McGregor merch in the game. The King is back. I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody. These are new merch that you'll be able to assign to your creative fighter in the game. And that's essentially the two fighters that got added to the game. It says, in addition to the fighters mentioned above, now this right here, nobody really asked for this one. This one's a little bit worrying to me personally. I don't know about you guys, but they've unlocked Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost in the heavyweight division. Now, Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost, these are not real fighters. They are made-up characters in the boxing game Fight Night Champion. In a Fight Night Champion story mode, Isaac Frost, of course, was the bad guy, the boss, and Andre Bishop is your hero. He's the one that you play at. That's the man that you follow. You follow his journey. And I'm going to leave a link below if you guys want to watch the whole entire story mode in Fight Night Champion. If you guys have not seen that, just so you can see the story of Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost. But these two guys, we had them in UFC 3 and in UFC 4 they were locked, but now they've been unlocked. So in the heavyweight division, expect to see a whole lot of Andre Bishop players. He's going to be very powerful, very good boxing, very fast, borderline broken, I'm certain of it. So really makes the heavyweight division a lot less attractive to play in, depending on what type of player that you are. It also says gameplay received some very significant improvements and changes in this patch. The team continued to review community feedback, and for this patch we focused on making more impactful changes to both stamina and submissions. Now right there it talks about a brand new type of kick that was added. It says they've added a new type of kick, the calf kick. Attribute balancing and tons of fighter movement updates. Now, the calf kick, of course, there are two types of leg kicks that we see in the UFC, and only recently have we started to see the calf kicks, which is a lot lower. So the regular leg kick, of course, targets above the knee. It targets the fighter's thigh above the knee. Meanwhile, the calf kick targets a lot below the knee, almost to the ankle, but mostly the calf. And the reason why this kick is becoming very popular, of course, in the UFC is because of how difficult this kick is to block. If you try to check it by lifting up your leg and turning the leg out and presenting your shin like a regular Muay Thai check, it could actually knock you off balance if you try to do that because of how low it is. So generally, we don't really see a lot of fighters do well with checking the calf kick. So but in the game we will be able to check it. It also talks about how the calf kick right there says the calf kick targets a lower part of the leg, which makes them more effective for destabilizing your opponent, interrupting strikes, and it's also safer than regular leg kicks versus checks, as you guys can see. But to balance it, just to make it not overpowered, they did make the calf kick deal less damage than regular leg kicks. Now, in real life, of course, calf kicks are a lot more devastating. They truly are a lot more devastating because of course, where you target, and again, because they're very, very difficult to check and block. So they do more damage in real life, but in the game, just to make sure that it's not overpowered, they made it do less damage than regular leg kicks, which is, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but for me personally, the last thing I want to see is for this game to turn into a leg kicking simulation. Like, I don't want every single fight to turn into, who's going to be able to kick the other more in the legs. Like, I don't want to go from a boxing meta to a leg kick meta. We've already experienced that in UFC 1. And it wasn't really fun. A lot of people think we really want that. We really want leg kicks, but try to remember how UFC 1 was. And if you didn't play UFC 1, take it from those that played UFC 1. You're not going to enjoy a leg kick meta. So this is a good change, a good compromise, in my opinion. It says right there in an upcoming blog, they're going to go into more detail into the stamina and submission changes. But right there, let's take a look at some of these notes right here. Major updates, of course, Conor McGregor, new model added to the featherweight division. Now, this model, it's not just a character model, by the way. A few stat changes, like you notice the grappling right here. I believe the grappling, I don't remember exactly what his grappling stats are for UFC, for his regular character model in UFC 4, but I do know that his health stats and striking, if you take a look at it, if you compare it to the regular model, I think you're going to notice that his health stats and striking is actually better, which, makes sense. I mean, in the featherweight division, Conor McGregor was a complete machine. He really was. He never lost. Barely lost any rounds. He was stopping guys. He ran through the featherweight division. So the featherweight version of Conor, is basically infallible. He was a monster. So I guess that makes perfect sense. Yuri Prohaska added to the light heavyweight division. Jessica Andrade added to flyweight and bantamweight divisions. We talked about how they unlocked Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost in the heavyweight division. Now this one right here added additional settings to online invite match settings, including gameplay sliders. I've looked at the game right now before I started doing this, and I don't think these gameplay sliders actually made it in. So they might need to update this, because I looked, I don't see these gameplay sliders they're talking about, but they did added an option for you in online quick fight and online world championships to prioritize venue preference during matchmaking. Now, the important thing to keep in mind with this is it depends on who is in the red corner. That's who gets priority. So if you do a setting to say, I only want to fight in UFC venues, I don't want backyard or whatever, I only want to fight in actual UFC venues, that only depends on who has who's in the red corner. So if you're in the red corner, you get priority. So just keep that in mind. It says fixed event and tournament mode calf scaling issues and mismatched ratings and the AI. Now right there, gameplay updates. We already talked about the calf kicks. All fighters will be able to throw this calf kick, and to throw the calf kick, it is just a regular leg kick button. So if you're using the Xbox controller, it is A and B. And if you're on the PlayStation 4 controller, it is X and circle. Now, if you want to throw the regular type of roundhouse leg kick, the one that goes to the thigh, you're going to need to hold down the buttons. So Xbox, you have to hold down either A or B. PlayStation 4, you're going to have to hold down either X or circle. So press for the calf kick, hold down to get the old regular leg kicks. Here it says that it added a new set of stand-up blocking animations and polished the old set Keep in mind, these new blocking animations will play up until a certain amount of stamina loss. So when your stamina gets low beyond a certain point, that's when you're going to start seeing the old blocking animations. This way, if you're fighting someone online and you start to see that old blocking animation, it gives you an idea of where their stamina is at, so keep that in mind. It says it fixed an issue with attribute information displayed for a few archetypes, increased penalty for the attacker's rapid movement in limb submissions. Now, during limb submissions in the past, you notice a few fighters, I actually don't know how they were doing this, but you'll notice some fighters being able to move their stick really fast to be able to follow you regardless of where you're going. And that made denying or getting out of some limb submissions very difficult. But right there, they've added a penalty for the attacker's rapid movement. Now, I don't know exactly what this penalty is going to be. Is their bar going to be decreased further? Are they going to get stamina penalty? Like, what exactly is the penalty? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to play it to figure that out. But just keep in mind, that's going to be punished now. It says, fixed an issue to allow body sidekicks to track walking to one side. The outside, this is a very good change. From day one, I've complained about how the sidekicks is busted, completely busted. Even the slightest bit of lateral movement makes it whiff completely. Now, a few of you argued with me on that. A few of you did. You said, oh, lateral movement should be able to make sidekicks whiff completely, which is complete nonsense. That's rubbish. It shouldn't. It should not. Like, simply, like, your feet is not like a tip of a spear where you need absolute pinpoint accuracy to be able to land. Sidekicks are landed with the heel of the foot. And if you're moving to either direction, you still have a whole entire foot. Like, simply moving even a little bit doesn't make the whole entire feet or foot with the whole entire body. That's not the way it works. Fighters are still able to land sidekicks on moving opponents. So the fact that they've added this, they fixed that, makes fighters like John Bones Jones, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, even Conor McGregor, Zabit, a lot of these fighters that have sidekicks, they're going to be usable now. I can go back to using John Jones the way that I was using John Jones in UFC 3, and that makes me very excited. It says right here, tune stamina recovery to be slower when stamina is high. So try to think about this one right here. When your stamina is still very high and you're throwing shots, right? Your short-term stamina is going to go down, but now it's going to come back up really slow. Now, what this is trying to achieve is it's trying to reduce how aggressive players are in the beginning when their stamina is still high. So if you throw a lot of shots, you're going to have to wait a little bit because your short-term stamina is going to regenerate a little bit slower. So that's going to slow down your output. Theoretically, we're going to see if that's actually going to work, because a lot of players will most definitely find a way around that. It says, tuned strike stamina costs between weight divisions. And right there it goes, reduce the cost for heavier divisions and increased it for the lighter ones with very little change to the divisions in the middle, such as lightweight. Even in the heaviest and lightest divisions, this adjustment was small. So essentially what this is trying to achieve, even though, I can't really say it's too realistic. It says it reduced the cost of stamina for heavier divisions. Meanwhile, in real life, the heavier fighters tend to lose stamina a lot quicker. Just because they're heavier, they're generally not as well conditioned as the lighter guys. But here, the stamina cost for the heavier divisions has been reduced, and then the lighter ones, it has been increased. And I believe what they're trying to achieve here is, because you notice in the game, when you fight in the lighter weight classes, the amount of strikes being thrown is ridiculous. The pace of the fights is just too high, and I think they're trying to slow things down a little bit in the lighter weight classes and speed things up a little bit in the heavier weight classes. I believe that's what they're trying to achieve here. Once again, this is all theoretically. I don't know how it's going to work in an actual live fight environment. We're going to have to see. It says decrease permanent body damage by 10%. I don't really know who asked for this. Really not sure. From my experience, doing body damage in UFC 4, then again, I suppose it depends on who you're playing. Like, if you're playing, like, an Ed Parker or something. I suppose this is going to be a good change because he can really damage your body very, very quickly. But for the most part, I don't really have a lot of issues with my body when I'm playing a game against most people. So this is gonna, I mean, it's just gonna help. And well, we'll see how this plays out in an actual fight. Decreased block breakdown by 15%. You guys asked for this one. I mean, this is one of those changes that, like, on the surface, like on the surface in your head, you think, okay, the block breakdown being decreased is going to lead to less aggression, but that's really not what's gonna happen, right? It's like the harder it is to break through the block, the more strikes players are going to throw to be able to break through that block. So I think this is actually most likely going to lead to increased aggression, because if it takes 2 strikes to break down the block, that's one thing. But if it takes 4 or 5 strikes to shatter through the block, that's what you're going to start seeing. You'll start seeing players use more and more and more and more strikes to shatter through the block. So just keep that in mind right there. So next up, they decreased, it says decreased head roundhouse bleed through from 20% to 10%. Now, the reason why this was done is, of course, because of the 1-2 head kick meta. This was very prevalent online. Your block gets reduced a little bit, and next thing you know, fighters are throwing jab, cross, followed by a head kick. And of course, the head kick shatters through the block and drops you. So because of that, they're reducing the amount of bleed through that happens when you land a roundhouse to the head on the block. A roundhouse to the block. A roundhouse kick to the head on the block. You guys know what I mean. So that should reduce how many times we see the 1-2 head kick online. That's not to say that it's still not going to happen. It's most definitely still going to happen because the block is still not going to be that strong. I mean, look at this, from 20% to 10%. That is, it's a change that you're going to notice, but it's not so significant that you're not going to see the 1-2 head kick anymore. That's all I'm trying to say. Now this one right here is the one that makes me happy personally the most. Single and low single bails now require a stamina advantage of 30%. Now, the single leg bail, this is one of the cheapest ways that players used to get takedowns. They'll shoot on you, they'll shoot a low single or a regular single leg on you. They'll bail on the takedown by holding block, and immediately they'll take your back. And then from the back, you have a 50-50 shot of guessing what they're going to do. They're either going to jump on your back and take your back and take you to the ground, or they'll try to go for a takedown by either dragging you down by moving forward, or dragging you back by moving backwards. It's so, like, from the back, it's such a strong position for a player to have you in, and it used to be so easy for them to get you there. You know, taking the fighter's back, it's such a powerful position to be in. But now they've made it so you need to have a stamina advantage of 30% to be able to low single bail, which essentially is going to make the single leg bail like something that you guys are not going to see anymore. And I'm glad about that. I'm happy about that. It says attempting it without such an advantage will result in the drive ending in favor of the defender. Thank you. Thank you very much, EA. Right there it says, fixed an issue where submissions were finishing before the progress bar had completed and when chains were activated at a certain time. And now this is actually something that I personally never experienced, or maybe I just wasn't savvy enough to see that it's happening. Only because, I mean, I don't go for submissions in this game. I really don't. So good change, I guess, for those that it affected. It says, reduced damage of clinch rear knees to head and body from collar tie, Muay Thai, and single under by 20%. This is a very good change. It's a very good change because players just love grabbing you. They love getting you in the single collar tie and, you know, alternating between body and head knees. And this is designed to make that less attractive than it used to be. So now you get a player in the Muay Thai clinch, and you're trying to land like full plumb knees to the head and to the body, you're going to see reduced damage. So that's very good. It says this still leaves the head knees damage slightly higher than the elbows. The lead knees, which are slower, retain their previous damage. So this is only going to affect the rear knee, which is, I mean, it's mostly what players do anyways. I mean, I guess what this is most likely going to lead to is the players that love doing this would switch from throwing the rear knee to the lead knee. But the lead knee is a lot slower than the rear one, so it should be a lot easier to block on reaction. So that's the hope. We'll see how this plays out in action. It says reduced bleed through of clinch knees. Since evading them is not an option, blocking the correct height is the best defense available. So we made blocking them a bit better. They can still deal significant damage to the block if the meter is low. So in the past, players use this as actually a way to whittle down your block. They get you in a knee, they get you in a clinch, and they fire off knees at your block over and over and over again to kind of break down your block. But now that the block is going to be stronger and the bleed through is going to be reduced, we're not going to see that a lot. And it does make sense because, as they say right there, you can't slip it, you can't catch it, you can't lunge away from it. Your only option is to block it. So it would make sense for the block to reward you enough for blocking correctly. So makes perfect sense. I like this change. It says slow down the head peel fake from dominant backside. From dominant backside. So they're talking about, okay, they're talking about the entry from backside, and then you roll into backsident. It says hold on. This is the entry for the bulldog choke, and it transitioned to backsident. There we go. So this was added in the last pass. So right now, if someone has you in backsident dominance, or they're on top in backsident, they can pretend like they're starting a bulldog choke and then roll you into backsident. The animation, the starting animation was too fast, meaning it could be faked too quickly. Okay, we slowed the starting animation down considerably, but did not change the denial window, so only the fakes should be affected. Perfect. I like that. It says refine the starting animation of the transition from backside to full guard. Refine the starting animation. So what does this refinement do? Let's see. The animation was previously too hard to read because the shoulders took long to start to shift, okay? Now the shoulders should start to shift right away, making reactive denials against this move more viable, even though the denial window isn't changing. So this is just a visual change, not actually a change to the denial window. And so this is the transition from backside to full guard when you're on the bottom. So if you're on the bottom and backside and you're trying to get to full guard, in the past it was difficult to deny for the guy on top because I said the shoulders, right? The shoulders took too long to start to shift. But now the shoulders is going to start shifting right away. So visually, that will tell you when this animation, when this move is starting, and you can deny on reaction. Okay, I like the change. Increased the denial window for the hip toss from collar tie and Muay Thai clinch. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate this one. This is, players love to do this shit, bro. They get you in the Muay Thai, in the single collar tie and few knees, and they boom try to sneak in a hip toss. The denial window has been increased, which means you'll be able to deny it easier. It says, please note that this increase will affect the time the defender has to scramble. The hardest part for the defender will probably be to not be pressing high block by the time the scramble window starts, as that prevents the scramble. Hold on a sec. This increase will affect the time the defender has to scramble. So scrambling is going to be harder, but defending it completely will be easier. Okay. That's a good trade-off. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Increase the permanent stamina cost of ground. Whoa! What the hell? By 50%? What the? Who asked for this? Hold on. You increase the permanent stamina cost. This is just going to lead. This is the complete opposite of what we want. The ground game is already too stale. Players are afraid of transitioning because they'll lose stamina. And then you increase the permanent stamina by 50%? What the? Did anybody ask for this? Can one of you in the comment section tell me if you are who did you ask for this? Okay, maybe I'm just freaking out a little bit too much and I don't understand this change. So, yo, Zayaf, I know that you're watching. Can you please do me a favor And in the comment section below, just write a full review of this change specifically right here. Increase the permanent stamina cost of ground transitions by 50%. Let me know if I'm freaking out or not. Is this going to cause the ground game to become more about lay and pray as opposed to being active? Because what we want is for the ground game to be active. More transitions happening as opposed to just laying in one spot and holding someone in one spot and being so afraid to move. Like it. Okay, just let me know in the comments section if I am freaking out about this or if this is exactly how I understand it. Because right now, reading this does not look like a good change at all. Anyways, next up it says reduced recovery of the resistance to head health between round. Okay, this is a good one. So what this means is that we're going to see a lot less drops. You guys complain all the time. There are way too many drops in this game, too many health events, not enough one-shot KOs. So essentially, between rounds, the amount of head health that you gain back is going to be reduced. Reduced recovery of the resistance to head health. So, you get hurt too much in round number 1, the chance of you getting flat out KO'd in round number 2 is going to be increased. More increased than before the patch. So, good. Very good. Greatly decrease the stamina cost of the Wizard escape. Now, you guys know what the Wizard is, right? So if you are against the cage, your opponent gets you against the cage in a single underhooks, and they go to knee your body or they go to knee your head. You can hold, for PlayStation controller, you can hold R2 and L2, and once they try to throw the knee, you're going to escape to the open. You're going to use a Wizard and escape to the open. Now, before, right, the stamina cost for doing that was quite high, but now it's been reduced. It says reduce the stamina cost of the Wizard escape. So now when you escape, it's not going to require a lot of stamina to do that, which is very good. It says attacker can now cancel their submission by pressing R1 and L1 together. You guys are going to need to add a by right here. Attacker can now cancel their submission by, proofread EA, by pressing R1 and L1 together. So if you press R1 and L1 together, or LB plus RB on the Xbox, you can cancel your submission, which is very, very, very good. Because a lot of submissions, you know, if you know you're not going to get it and you don't want to give up position, you can cancel it right away and retain top position. So that's good. Very good. It says increase the effect of submission defense. Actually, you know, in the players got very good at, like, it's because what I would do sometimes is when I get a player in a submission and I know I'm not gonna get it and I know I'm gonna lose top position, if the submission gets a little bit deeper, I'll try to stop moving to let them get out. But then smart players will know that's what I'm doing, so they actually start moving their bar to get me to try to chase their bar. So they move their bar so that I can get deeper into submission. And so they actually end up chasing me when I'm like, no, I don't want to sub you. Leave me alone. I'm running away and I don't want to sub you. And they're like, no, come here. Sub me. Try to sub me. Because they know it's going to give them top position. So this is a very good change. It allows you to cancel your submission if you know, okay, this is going to put me in a position that's not very favorable. So that's very good. Right there it says increased the effect of submission defense rating. Sorry, I know you guys saw that on the screens. Had to check to make sure that I was still recording. Increase the effect of submission defense rating. Okay. Submission strength tuning. Not sure what the hell that means, but we'll see. Crucifix strike damage has been reduced by 25%. You guys are going to love this one. You guys that hate, I mean, the crucifix is a very, very dangerous place to find yourself, and they've reduced the damage by 25%. That's very good. Reduce number of leg health events before TKO. A lot of people complained. That it took too much. Too many knockdowns before you get a leg kick TKO. You guys know my issue with that. My issue is that the referee is not jumping in soon enough to stop it. But they're saying right here it will take fewer leg health events to result in a leg kick TKO. So we are definitely going to be seeing that, plus the fact that they've added these calf kicks that will be harder to check. Yeah, we're going to see more leg kick TKOs. So get ready for that. Decrease the effect of the cardio attribute on starting stamina. I'm not really sure exactly what this means. Decrease the effect of the cardio attribute on starting. This one's a little bit convoluted. I'm gonna have to look into this one and I'm gonna get back to you guys on it, because just thinking about it right now, this doesn't make much sense to me. It says made plodding footwork stamina threshold more dynamic based on footwork and leg health. So this is essentially saying if your leg health is low, you'll start plodding a lot sooner. It also says the footwork stamina threshold, it was made more dynamic. So it based on your footwork stat and also your leg health. So essentially, if your leg is damaged, you're going to notice that more on the way that you move. So more leg damage, you will notice that your movement will be slowed down. You'll start to plod a little bit more, and it'll also be based on your footwork stat. Okay, we'll see how that works out in theory. Next up, in practice, not theory. Next up, increase the clinch back take stamina cost. Okay, there you go. Jumping on somebody's back is it's a little bit taxing. It's not an easy thing to do. So they're increasing how much stamina it's gonna cost to be doing that. So good, very good. Made special backwards leg lunge mitigate leg damage instead of increasing it. So what this is saying is, when an opponent throws a leg kick at you and you lunge backwards, in the past, it increased the damage of the leg kick, but now it's actually going to mitigate leg damage. So, they increased leg kicks. Leg kick TKOs is going to be more prevalent. The leg kicks have been buffed, but we also were given a few more tools to deal with the increased, the buff leg kicks. So this is good. This is very good. Next up, made it so the defender can instantly escape from the back clinch after the Osotogari scramble, unless the attacker has a 30% stamina advantage. Okay, we'll see how this one plays out again in practice. It says restricted the use of the muscle modifier on the ground to the same rules we had in UFC 3. Of course, they changed it. Now, the muscle modifier, you guys probably don't, a few of you don't know what it is. Essentially, in this game, if you hold R1, you're able to speed up transitions. You're able to speed it up at the cost of more stamina. Now, before this patch, you could essentially muscle transition into anything. You can muscle transition into a submission even. You can muscle your way into crucifix, which of course costs a lot of stamina, but goddamn, you're in crucifix. It's huge. But now they've made it so it follows the same rules as in UFC 3. So now you can only use the muscle modifier for get-ups and sit-out sweeps from sprawl. So there you go. No more muscling into crucifix. Can't do that anymore. Tuned custom fighter AI tendencies, whatever that means. Made reversals and arm traps wipe grapple advantage. Okay. Previously, reversals and arm traps would not clear the grapple advantage upon reaching the new position. Previously, the dominant fighter could have a lot of GA in his favor and would maintain it in the position after being reversed, okay? Such as from an arm trap from side saddle to side control, okay? Now, the reversals and arm traps would clear the GA and grant a small amount of successful denial to the fighter who performed the reversal. So now, you perform a reversal, you actually get an advantage. As opposed to, you perform a reversal, but the guy you reversed still has a lot more GA than you do. I mean, just GA in general is just such a pain in the ass. I wish they would just do away with it completely. Next up, lowered frequency with which the AI intercepts takedowns with strikes. This is very good for those of you that love playing. For those of us that love playing offline, it's very good. Fix the bug in AI takedown feints, reducing actual takedown frequency. And added ability for AI to execute in Minari rolls. And that is about it for these gameplay changes. You guys can take a look and see the moveset updates. They were added to the game. There's quite a few of them, quite substantial. So check it out. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link below to this right here. Go right ahead, read the patch notes for yourself, get acquainted with these changes, learn them. and then let's hop online and see how all these changes will play out. And very soon too, very shortly after I drop this video, I'm going to use Conor McGregor, this new Conor McGregor model, and I'm also going to do a full fighter showcase for Conor McGregor using the old model. So you'll be getting 2 Conor McGregor showcases before UFC 257. You're also getting a Dan Hooker fighter showcase, and you're getting a Dustin Poirier fighter showcase. So quite a few videos I'll be pumping out quite a few content between now and UFC 257, which of course UFC 257 we are doing a live companion, a fight companion. So tune in. I'm gonna remind you guys on the day of, come hang out with me. Let's watch the fights together. I will not be showing the fight on my channel. Don't ask. It's a fight companion. You're just gonna see me on the screen. I will not show the fight. I will not show the fight. Once again, I will not show the fight. So don't ask. Watch the fight on your own TV and hang out with me as we watch it together. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below in regards to this patch. Are you excited? Do you think this is going to make the game better? And I will see you guys later with a brand new one. Peace out, folks. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.